Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, March 14th. And today I am going to take some of the many questions that you guys sent in during the webinar and try to take at least, 5, 7 of them, 8 of them. So I'm going to read them. They were very good questions. Boy, I love that we have viewers and listeners that are so interested in defense, in our military, in protecting America. So I'm going to take these. Doug asks, can the U.S. afford the Iron Dome? Yes, we can, Doug, but we're going to have to make cuts. We're going to have to reallocate resources away from non-productive 20th century weapon systems to 21st century weapon systems, which is underway right now. And remember, it is a necessary thing. The Iron Dome is necessary, and what is necessary is never unwise in life. Anonymous asks, Trump talk about shipbuilding. How does this come into play with stocks? Oh, let me tell you something. I have been waiting for shipbuilding. I have been waiting. Our Navy, you guys have heard me over the years talk how the fact that China has gotten a bigger Navy, and the Navy is the cornerstone of all power. If you look at Athens, they were a naval power. If you look at England, it was a naval power. Carthage was a naval power. Teddy Roosevelt was the head of the Navy for a while, and he really wrote a great book talking about how naval power is the key to create a powerful country. Japan learned that. A lot of people, really very important. So I'm very excited about this. The challenge there is there's not enough clarity on shipbuilding yet. Number one. Number two, the shipbuilding business is such a low margin business. We need to see more before we can actually recommend shipbuilding. Myron, Dylan, can you recommend a defense ETF? Yes, I will. It'll be in Breakthrough Wealth. That's a great question. Anonymous, do you know drone company Ondas? I do. I'll tell you something. Drones are very interesting. What we have found now is that because Ukraine has been waging war in Russia, their drone makers, they're able to produce massive amounts of drones every day, and their drones are battle tested, doing great things in the battlefield in a real environment. What we're finding that they're beating out a lot of our American drone manufacturers, and that's because Americans come to Ukraine to test their drones. It's a live environment, and American drones, some of them, seem to have had trouble going up against electronic warfare that tries to stop them or short their circuits when they're flying in. Ukrainian drones have solved for that. So what we're finding right now is that with American software, like OS X has put software in some of these, Ukrainians have become great manufacturers of drones. So the U.S. government has recently approved bringing in Ukrainian-made drones into the military, and that's going through security checks and all that kind of stuff. But it's actually fascinating, the evolution of the drone business. Charlotte writes in, will these be good investments if the U.S. dollar system loses its reserve status? The world is going to be very different if the U.S. dollar loses its reserve status. It's going to challenge a lot of our beliefs on what's good and what's not. But that would be a BCAD kind of scenario for a whole bunch of things. So we'll jump off that bridge when we come to it. And the last thing, Charlotte, we got to play the ball where it is, not where we want to be. And right now, it is the reserve. William, Navy has the Aegis-based anti-satellite missile system. Why did you leave that out in the early part of your presentation? William, I could geek out on this stuff all day. And we just created another documentary, an actual documentary like we do, on new weapons that are being added to Navy ships. This had to be about the Iron Dome. I could look at individual sections of every aspect of the military and go wild, and I don't stop. The people here that work here are like, you've got to really just focus on one of these at a time. So we had to make this focused, but I'm hoping that you like the documentary that we put out in the coming days and weeks. Stephen, do you have any thoughts on the C.K. Hutchison acquisition by BlackRock on port facilities? Oh, I think it's great. Look, we can't have China owning a canal, a choke point in the Americas. This is common sense. To me, that is just smart. It's a great idea. I'm glad that an American consortium was able to put the funds together to get that. China is actually doing what we would do to them. They're trying to really build relationships and ports all in the Americas. Trump is very right to focus on that. Michael, will thorium reactors be a big disruptor? Maybe, but thorium itself isn't fissile, meaning that it has to be converted into uranium, which makes it challenging. It adds a very big extra step, which takes very complicated chemicals to do. They have to solve for that before that could be widely adopted and cheaper, better, faster than the other options. Okay. One, I want to give a shout out to Gail, who wrote a nice note to us. Not really a question. I'm already an Alliance member. All your services provided big winners for me. You've been a terrific investment. Yay. Several of your recommendations have produced big results for me. I just want to let you know all this and say thank you. Thank you, Gail. I wanted to add this. There were a dozen other ones, but this one really touched our heart. I forwarded it to the whole team, and it just put a big smile on everybody's face. You made everybody's day. I appreciate that. We really appreciate that. We're humbled by the opportunity to serve you. We're humbled by the great trust that you put in us to help you with these very important decisions, especially as we go through rocky markets together. Sometimes we're going to look at our model portfolio and everything's going to be down because the market's down, and that's just the way life is. But over time, we go through these together, and we get to the other side of it, as long as we keep our cool. Oh, and Gerald wrote in, for a multimillionaire, maybe billionaire, definitely not a billionaire, maybe it's time to get a new chair. He's talking about, look at the chair. Here's the thing, it's peeling, and Gerald is right. Everybody at the office makes fun of my chair. But look, I don't buy things unless I need them. They're all utilities to me. I'm a more substance over style type of guy. And I understand your dress for success comment, but this is a comfortable chair. And when you get to be my age, you don't get rid of things that still work and that are comfortable. It's like your favorite chair in your house. It might look a little ratty, but boy, at the end of the day, you sit in that chair and it just takes 10% of the pain or the weight of the world away. This is that chair for me. This chair and I have been through so many fights together, so many battles, so many wins, so many losses that I know she's fallen apart, but I'm not giving up on her yet. Anyway, that's all I have today. Have a wonderful day.